And I'm struck about tonight by many 49er fans, and we'll open it up to the lines right now, okay? Kyle Rudolph, Vikings great, and my partner on Sunday on the radio is going to join us in exactly an hour. Steve Kerr is on the show as well, but what do you all think about Christian McCaffrey tonight? It was Jay Glazer's report yesterday that got everybody going, because it's one thing when you go, it's an oblique. It's an oblique. And everyone goes, okay, it's an oblique. And all of us non-doctors are like, great, I know where the oblique is. And other than that, I know nothing about this injury. And then he used the word. Jay Glazer used the word tear. And it changed this entire conversation. Now, he said there is a very, quote, slight little tear in the oblique.
It's like a baby tear.
Well, but here's what I understand. I understand when people go, wait a minute, the whole report about, well, you can't make it worse. How's that possible? If it's a slight little tear, yeah, you can. It can become a bigger tear.
Sure.
So can you make it worse? And the second he uses that word, the whole conversation changes, and here you come with a bunch of 49er fans who think Christian McCaffrey should sit out tonight.
Well, what did they think that it was before that? Did they think that it was just a pulled muscle in his oblique? And the fact that he sat out for half a game last week, that told you that it was more than just like an owie or a bruise. The guy's tough. He wants to play. So the fact that it is a slight tear, according to Jay Glazer, and I don't know how he got that medical info that nobody else had been able to get, and I haven't seen it refuted from the Niners staff or anybody else, so we take it as fact that it is a slight baby tear. But what did we all think that it was?
I don't know. I didn't really spend any time thinking about it at all.
Well, all I do is think about medicals.
I know you do. I'm not a doctor. If somebody says it's an oblique, cool. It's an oblique. You tell me if he's playing or not. So far, what the Niners have been saying is that he's very, very likely to play. I don't know if they're messing with the Vikings. I actually wouldn't be shocked in an hour if it comes out that he's not playing tonight, because he is the type of guy who's a game changer in terms of your scheme and your game plan. So would the Niners pull that? I have no idea. But I'm going to trust that Christian, combined with the Niners and their doctors, know the right thing to do here. Are there tough calls in life? Yes. But here's what I would argue against. And it is a statement that mainly was coined by our boss, Matt Nahagian, who said yesterday on social media, quote, there is absolutely no reason to play Christian McCaffrey tonight. Yes, there is.
Right.
There's a football game to win. There's a football game to win.
Well, he also tweeted out shortly thereafter that you don't want to go to Philadelphia in the playoffs. You absolutely have to get the number one seed, which I thought was an interesting back-to-back, and he probably tweeted in between those two. They were about 6 hours apart, but there's no reason to play Christian McCaffrey, followed by you have to get the number one seed, which hit me because the only reason why you would play him tonight would be because you want to win this game and keep pace with Philadelphia, who right now is the number one seed. Detroit got boat raced.
Yes, they did.
They got run off the field by Baltimore, and that's fine. It's going to happen. I don't think that Philly's going to go 16-1, so Detroit is not out of it by any stretch. But if you're the Niners, you don't want to fall behind Philadelphia this early, and you don't want to lose a second straight game, and you don't want to lose your upper hand at maybe getting the number one seed.
You're absolutely not wrong. Although I do think it's even simpler than that. Like, keep pace with Philly, so you're 7 games in after tonight. If you're both 6-1, great. There's still 10 more games to go. I would simplify it even beyond the idea of keeping pace with Philly. Here's the simplification sensation. There's a game, and they want to win it really badly. Really badly, because that's how this works. The idea of like saving someone for next week, or there's a bye in 2 weeks, so you could chunk off 3 weeks in rather than 2 with regard to how you play this whole thing. Football is an obsessive state of mind, the way they go about it. Every football player I've ever talked to says the same thing. When it's game week, like, there are guys on the team who don't even know they're playing Cincinnati Sunday. They don't even know, because they are so laser focused on the game plan and exactly what they need to do to go beat the Minnesota Vikings on a Monday night in prime time. That is the laser focus. You just do not have the ability at this level to be like, well, we could beat them without this guy and without that guy and without whatever. I don't think that's the thought. Nobody's looking at a month down the road. And by the way, save a guy from injury. What can happen on the first play when he gets back 4 weeks from now?
He can get hurt.
He can snap
ankle,
anything.
knee, who knows?
So, you've got to, I'm not saying play through anything, but if he and the medical experts and the 49ers believe this guy is ready to play a football game tonight, absolutely. You play him in this football game tonight.
Even if it means that he could get further injured. His little tear could become a medium tear or a big tear, because I believe that's how these things can be exacerbated. When you have a small injury, it can graduate into a bigger injury.
It could, but here's the honest truth of the whole thing. Even if Christian was totally healed, there is absolutely a very solid chance at injury again tonight, no matter what.
Of course.
It doesn't matter. Whoever's healthy, whatever. So I think there's this, we've even talked about it with regard to his usage. There's this idea that there is a way to protect Christian. And I don't think there is. There isn't. There's no way to protect a football player. There's none.
Well, by not playing him.
But then...
I mean, that protects him.
Okay, but then the second he does get back out there, he's not protected.
Of course.
And you're in a lesser spot because you've sat all your players, and now instead of being 14-3, you're 11-6.
And unless you can go out and beat Minnesota without him, and you don't have Debo and you don't have Trent, so if you don't play Christian McCaffrey, you can still go out and win the game. We've seen teams win football games without having their full complement, so it's possible they go out and win.
Well,
it's also possible that he plays and they lose.
Yes.
He plays, he doesn't get hurt, they lose. They play, he gets hurt, they win. You never know.
But you wouldn't argue they are more likely to win the game if he plays. Accurate?
Depends on how healthy he is.
I mean, we've talked about this earlier in the year. Christian is worth maybe as much as a field goal on the spread.
Right.
So
what is the spread now? Has it changed?
I think it's still 7 last I looked. Yeah. But I mean, if he's announced out, that thing immediately goes to 4. So more or less likely that they win if he plays.
I wonder if it goes to 4 between now and 5:15.
I mean, that's what they said.
Right.
That's what they said. And by the way,
keep an eye on that.
This spread was 7 before last week's games. The look-ahead line was it has not moved.
I thought it went to 6.5 late last week when we were on the air.
It is,
and then back to 7.
At this hour, I've got it. It's at 7, but it's threatening to go to 6.5.
Okay,
it is at plus 100 for -7. But the point is that they were -7 before last week's game, which means they've lost. They lost Debo Samuel. They lost Trent Williams, and at least Christian McCaffrey's hampered. All of that happened, and the line did what? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But according to what we were told, based on line movers, if he gets announced out, this thing moves to at least 5, maybe 4.
Oh, I wonder if it moves that much, and I guess we'll keep an eye on that if the news does break. I do think he's going to play, so we probably won't get a chance to see what a line move would be like in the last-minute window, because I think that he's gotten this far being questionable, and all the reports were going into it, he's going to try to play. And if it's just a small tear and he can pain manage it, and that's what everyone was saying, that it's a pain management thing, and he did have the extra day. So if that's the case and he can pain manage it and he doesn't have Debo already and you don't have Trent, so I would imagine he would push to play more than if those other guys were in the lineup.
Let me ask you a quick question. You coaching?
No.
Okay. Let me ask you another one. If you were, you playing him?
Am I playing him? Yeah, if he can play. I mean, it's not a Kyle question.
I'm with you.
It's really not up to Kyle.
That's true. Yeah, it's up to those who are in charge of that. I thought you were going to
ask me who I'm taking.
We got time for that.
Oh,
we got all kinds of time for that. It's a lot of points, and they are a home dog. I know. You wouldn't surprise me at all if you took the Vikings.